From the balmy shores of sunny Florida to the cold winds of Chicago and everywhere in between, you're watching the Red Wimet Show, live, coast to coast.
Hello. Well, action there, guys. It is July 28th, 2025, and I am Red Wimet. And Tim Peroni, Tim showed up, and that's all we have in the house right now. So, except Mickey Griggs. Mickey Griggs showed up. How you doing, Mickey? Maybe we have other people here, but they're really not putting any chat in. It's hard for me to tell. Scott H., how you doing, buddy? How am I doing today? Well, they got it ever since 6 a.m. this morning. They had a heat advisory outside, and I took a thumbnail picture and put it on the front here. It's approximately 104 in the shade. So I'm doing okay. I'm indoors. I'm doing well, Mickey. Thank you. So, other than me telling a story, which I could do. Scott, what are you doing in Georgia? Shannon. How you doing, Shannon? Good to see you. Very good to see you. Tim, I don't know exactly what you're talking about. Your dad was a manager of McDonald's in Libertyville in the 60s, early 60s. Fries were 11 cents and hamburgers were 15 cents and 17 cents for cheeseburgers. Well, I had the fortune, or good fortune, of living in a small community not far away. It was called Wheeling, Illinois. And we were always told, it was verified, that after the Des Plaines McDonald's, the next one in line was the one in Wheeling on Dundee Road, which I believe is still there today. But that's where we used to go. Now, there was a place down the street called, or down the road, Dundee Road. It was called Henry's Hamburgers. And they were a little bit cheaper, a little bit greasier, but they were there. And I don't remember the exact fries of any, the prices of anything, fries or burgers. But I do remember they didn't have a lot of things on the menu that they do today. Scott H., I still own a house up here. And let her live. And let her. I think you live here. You say, let her live here. Tomorrow I'm going to North Carolina in my RV van for a few days of Smoky Mountains. That's great, Scott. I'm glad for you, buddy. Happy birthday to your daughter, Scott. Happy birthday. So, anybody have any good things you want to say about the good old days or things that they stand out in their memory? How about what is your first memory as a child? What do you still remember that? Oh, yeah, the Choo Choo. Yeah, I went in there when I was a kid. I used to go to Des Plaines Theater down the street, but we used to sit in there when I was a kid. I was about maybe 12, and we lived in Wheeling, but we go to Des Plaines because it was the only theater around, and we had double features always. But the Choo Choo was something special because I'd always order a cheeseburger, and that train would come around and deliver our orders. They were on flatbeds, uh, train tracks. Yeah, I remember the Choo Choo. I remember it fondly. And the person that was putting in the or fixing the orders would hit the thing and go choo woo, and that knew your order was coming. It was kind of neat. Timperoni, the ice cream trucks that used to run in your neighborhood in Mundelein. Uh, yeah, they were. That's a good thing. Good memory. Now, before anybody gets insane, I'm going to tell you about my first memory as a child. Uh, my first memory was, and always has been. I think I was 3.5 years old, and I had a bad habit of jumping up and down in my crib. And at that time, we lived on Laramie Avenue in Chicago. It was in VA housing. They were temporary houses. They were only like 4-room houses, 2 bedrooms, a living room, a bathroom, and a kitchen. That was it. Very small. But I was in my bedroom. My sister and I shared the bedroom, but I was just a baby. She was a little bit older than I was, about a year and a half. But my dad, because we didn't have any closets or anything, he built these, what do you call them, cabinets out of 3/4 inch plywood. It was probably left over from some construction project. But he built them, and then he put them up on the walls. And he put one up in our bedroom so we could put things away because we didn't have closets. There weren't any closets in this house. It's a very simple house. I think it only cost like 3-4 thousand to build it. There were a lot of them on a big piece of property there. Right down the street was Trinity Lutheran Church. Long time ago. This was on Laramie. So at any rate, what happened? And this is my memory. Uh, I was climbing on the cabinet, and I opened one of the doors. And between 3 and 4 years old, I really wasn't getting around that well. But I got my foot up in the cabinet. And like I said, it was made out of 3/4 inch plywood. It was far away from the wall, too. I don't know what he secured it with. If he put it up there with toggle bolts or whatever he did. I was just a kid. But what I do remember is when I was climbing on it, it came off the wall and I went down on my back and it went down on top of me. I wasn't crying, but the crash brought my parents into the bedroom. This was in the daytime. I was put down for a nap or something like that. I didn't want to take a nap, evidently. So what happened was my parents came in and my dad picked it up off me. It was pretty heavy. I remember putting a knee under it when he picked it up and moving it. And my mother was kind of hysterical. And she said, "Are you all right?" And I wasn't talking. My eyes were open, but I wasn't talking. And everybody kept asking me, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay?" Finally, my mother asked me a question. She said, "What's your telephone number? What's our telephone number?" And that's something they taught me as soon as I could babble anything out. And it was Cornelius 78972. So that is my first memory. Goes back a long ways, folks. Shannon, you used to go fishing with your grandpa in the Des Plaines River. You used to watch the planes start to land. You talking about over at Pewaukee Airport? Watching the planes land there? Dan, how you doing, buddy? Shannon, that has to be, if it's over by Des Plaines River, that has to be Pewaukee Airport that you're talking about, which is now called Executive Airport. It was owned by George Priester. He bought it right after World War II. Quite a guy. It was a great airport. But you remember that. How old were you then, dear? Shannon? You're so welcome. If that's your first memory about, how old were you then? Dan, how old am I? I am 76 years old. About 4 years old. Okay. Yes. That's when I basically, that's what I was trying to see. How many people had a memory of somewhere about that time? And you were 4 years old. My memory's not that far away. Yes, life was different back in those days. A lot different. The motel next to it is torn down. I would imagine. I don't think it was there that long. Temperoni, like I said, I lived in Wheeling, and if I wanted to go ice skating, we went to Northbrook and to the park in Northbrook. And that was back in the 60s. Back in like, no, 50s. That was in the 50s. It wasn't in the 60s. 1958, 1959, that sort of thing. J Babe, I vaguely remember onesies, pajamas, and a playpen texture. That's still a good memory. Well, you're a little bit older. That can't be your first memory, Dan. Early 70s used to go to Balmoral Park and to the Harness and Sportsman's Park, the sulky clubs. I was actually there in the 70s myself, but not to harness race. I was there for the flats. That's something, it's a dated event that we all remember, our first communion. I think. I would say we do. T. Remember Lamar Bookstore? Not offhand, I don't. I remember Washington Park. I think I remember Aurora Downs. I think I remember all the tracks and their locations. They were so much different back then. Mickey Griggs. My fondest memory was going to visit my half brother in Milton, Florida, from Alabama with my grandmother and my mother's mother. And we walked around a spot called Horseshoe. That's interesting. Very interesting. Thank you, Mickey. Capital News? Yes, I knew. I knew all about Capital News. Paula Lawrence, she owned it. And there isn't too much I didn't know about Capitol News. They owned a porn shop next to mine, and we had to straighten a lot of things out with it. Paula I did a bedtime story on Paula's car problem. Marco Galita, Mike Galita's brother, put a bomb underneath that car. He actually, the ATF undercover agent that he did it with was Gavoyevich was his name. And yeah, that was a Mercedes 500 SL, if I remember right. It was a red one. But that problem got solved. He went to prison, and she went on to do what she wanted to do. Actually, even after I left Chicago in 1988, I talked to nickname Acorn, which was a Chicago police detective that retired from his job, and he went to work directly for her. And they had some problems with some bombings and other things. So that's about the way it was. Chip said, NAS Glenview. I used to go to NAS Glenview in the mid 50s. A friend of mine down the street from where I lived, his father was transferred. He was in the Navy to where I lived. And so they used to take us to the pool there. It's really nice. I had a good time. I liked that air station. Actually, I went out there with the Blue Angels too. I got to fly in one of the Blue Angels planes, a trainer. Paula, yeah, she was a tough gal, but she didn't live on State Parkway. She lived back in that area, but she didn't live there. Yes, I remember the nickel bag on River Road. I also remember the nickel bag that used to be down in Old Town. It was its predecessor. Also, the Blue Whale was out there. There was a lot of things out there. No, it wasn't Division Street either. It was a very short street. It was only open, I think it's only 2 blocks long. It's called Scott, East Scott Street. I hope that helps you, T. But she lived she lived in a condo on East Scott Street. Does that jog your memory? It wasn't far from where you're talking about, right in the neighborhood. Hey, Red, how's it going? It's going good. I'm alive and kicking. Happy about it. Yes, you are very correct. 21 East Scott. It was a condo. And she married an attorney. They had a beautiful what do they call it? Cigarette boat. And I loved it. J-Babe was just a Pensacola. Didn't know it, but Blue Angel territory. Yeah, that's their home. That's their home. That's where they practice. That's where they live when they're not on the road. The Blue Angels. It's very nice there. Not far from me. I'm just up the road, east of there. One thing you miss about Chicago is the Italian beef sandwiches. I live close to Margie's. I also love Nick and Dino's Pizza. Great beef sandwiches. I miss some of the food, but that's about it. Really is. Everything's pretty good. Adam retired? Which Adam are you talking about? But that's about the only thing that I miss is the food. I don't miss the way it is now. I look at it, see it the way it is now, and believe me, I could never live there anymore. It's over. But I have some good memories, some very good memories. Adam from my vlog, no, he's not retired. We should be doing a show Wednesday. But as you can see by the thumbnail that I put up for this this Monday show, it's that's a picture, and that's what it's like outside. It is hot. The beaches aren't packed with people. It's hot. It's very hot. Usually this time of year, there's people all over the place. But my vlog will be going on Wednesday, I believe. Shannon, I couldn't live there now. I had a blast growing up there. I don't doubt it. It was so much different than Shannon. I had a blast growing up too. I didn't have that crazy of a. I don't know. It wasn't. I just remember a lot of good things. I mean, you're talking about different things. Back in the day, my parents used to go to the Villa of Nice, which is on Milwaukee Avenue, and I used to go over and play in the gondolas when I was a kid. Paula had a blast too. I got along with Paula. Paula and I didn't have one bad word. She had a couple bad words with Mike Galita when he slapped her. There was a couple things she had problems with, but she didn't have any problems with me. I forgot her husband's name when she remarried, but I remember his face, and I remember the guy she hired as a bodyguard, which was a detective from Area 6 at the time. Keating and North Avenue. We were a very tight group. Even now, we have a special bond. Excuse me. uh, that's good. Gomph, 3602. Last time I went into the city on an intoxicated man swearing in Spanish, breaking beer bottles on the sidewalks of a violence interrupter in an orange vest, looking and doing nothing. Okay. That means it's not a good idea to go in the city. Dan, in 1987, Windy City Mile Bomb Rickles won and played $3.97 on a $2 win. Oh, you're talking about the track. You remember him. The Burger King story I said was funny about bouncing everything off the counter. It's true. It's a true story. I brought that stuff back, and I was waiting in line, and yeah, it was hard. It was well overcooked. Those chicken tenders were not tender. They bounced off the stainless steel table. True story. Funny, but it was true. I've had a lot of funny things happen to me in my life. Yes, chipset. I recall. Yeah, it was. I didn't know the grown-ups were upset over that about the Baja Temple, but it was a landmark. If you're going up the Lake Forest or driving up 41 Sheridan Road, you always passed it. You're stuck on the racetrack. Phil, George F. And they're off. Hey, Deborah Day, how you doing? Please slap the like button, guys. Okay. Thank you, Deborah. You like listening to them. I used to listen to them too. Phil George F. was quite a guy. There's people that you remember, and I guess you're going to give us a play by. Here they come, spinning out of the turn. You're going to give us a play by play of a roast. Hey there, buddy, Anthony. Anthony did our intro that I did today, and Anthony does a lot of things. He's a great guy. Chicago Outfit Files. I'm doing good, buddy. Thirsty. It's hot here. It's really hot here. Anthony, you're one of the few people that make me laugh every day. Every time I look at Facebook, I look at something that's going on. And when you talk about the Rugrats and the other things that are going on, it's really a joke. It really is. Christina Morris, how you doing? It's good to see you, dear. Big Mo, how you doing? Watching from home. Had to burn some vacation time. Nothing wrong with that. I hope it's cooler up there than it is here. Shannon, it's been hot in Spartanburg, South Carolina, right around 100 every day for now. It's been like that a week, but today is like exceptional. When I was laying in bed this morning, about 6 a.m., they started to give a heat advisory. And when I turned on my computer, it just had an advisory note. Big Mo, 92 there by you folks. Well, it must be a heat wave that's going all the way across the country, high and low. You're in Iowa, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what would be close to going across level with you from Iowa, wherever it was. Here you go, Anthony. We're all sweating today. 94. Keep cool. Thank you for the kind words. I meant them from the bottom of my heart, buddy. I go back to my glamorous job of cleaning the stoves. It's better than those bathrooms I want you to clean up. Man, those are bad. How you doing, Ben? Ben Carty. 90 degrees in Sycamore. Sycamore must be across from Mo. You're in Illinois. Sycamore, Illinois. And Mo's not that far away. I think he's about the same level. Nebraska to the west and Illinois to the east. Nebraska, that could be deadly over there too. I'm trying to think, all the guys I knew, if they worked in Iowa, The main FBI office they had to go into was in Omaha. That was where the SAC office was, where they had to go check in. So anybody that was in, I'm trying to think of the name of the towns, Des Moines, or they were in. I'm trying to think. It's up north of there. There's an agent that I knew. He got that area. That he became the SAC in that area. I don't know where it's at. I can't think of the name of it right now. But it's in Iowa. Dave Grimpy, sorry I'm late, but I finally came back to work after being off for a year and a half. 2 years of my surgery on the shoulder. Oh, wow, that's bad. Well, I'm glad you're back. I hope you're feeling good too. 87 on Wednesday. Okay. Dubuque, Des Moines. You're starting from the top. It's right even with Chicago Outfit Files. I'm trying to think of the name of it right now. But Scott Jennings got that after he finished the Schweiss case with me. That was his appointment. He went to Iowa. And I'm trying to think of the name of it. I just can't. I can't think of the name of it. It wasn't Ames. I know where Ames is at. It wasn't Des Moines. I'm trying to think of it's up there. It's not a big city. It's right even with Chicago. If you drive straight across, you go right to there. And I just can't think of the name of it now. Thanks for trying to help me. But it's not Des Moines. It's not Ames. It's not. Davenport's all the way down to the bottom, right next to Rock Island. That's the name of it. Cedar Rapids. You got it, man. He went to Cedar Rapids. So that's it. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you very much. As usual, you're the guy with all the answers. Oh, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. The Devil's Advocate. The Devil's Advocate. The Devil's Advocate. Hey, Red, I love your stories. Thank you, buddy. I'm saying buddy, but it might be somebody else. Little things. Don't worry about them. Cedar Rapids. It's okay. You spelled Cedar Rock. I don't give a damn. It's good. Do you think it makes me like you any less or not like you? My buddy. Playing Little League Baseball was one of your favorite things. The Devil's Advocate. My name's Russell Duvall. Devil's Advocate is a play on words. It's an anagram, is it not? Isn't that what they call it? Mr. Duvall? And anagrams are interesting. Not many people use them today. They're not that popular anymore. Big Mo, I'm going to ask you because you live in Iowa. It's a little bit different there. But do you have a first memory as a child? Something that you think of that you'll never forget. It's there, you remember it, and you may talk about it now, you may not talk about it. But it's your first memory as a child. I shared mine with you folks about the cabinet falling on me and me remembering my phone number. And I was only in between 3 and 4 years old at that time. And I still knew what it was. Oh, I love it, Anthony. People are using lots of grams nowadays, but they ain't anagrams. I love it. Mm, fun town. Okay. The Devil's Advocate. One of my favorite movies was The Devil's Advocate, starring Al Pacino. Yeah, it starred Al Pacino, but it also starred, who was the guy who was the attorney? Al Pacino was an attorney too. He owned the law firm. Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves was in that movie. He was very good. Now that's something good to remember, Mo. Your mom used to take you to Six Flags. That was great. That was really great. Probably some real fond memories. Keanu Reeves. That's who I remember. That was a racy movie too. The end of that movie was a killer. I'll always remember the end of that movie. The end of that movie was you like supernatural stuff. The end of that movie was called. He said he met him in the bathroom. He was redoing the trial, and he said vanity. One of the seven uh, seven deadlies. Vanity gets him every time, and I remember him saying that. Spoiler alert. Yeah, that's at the end of the movie. I'm not telling anything about the middle of it. I mean, the thing is a lot of crazy stuff. He screams and catches on fire, right? J Babe, good movie. If you let it get to you, it can be very deep. I remember a lot of things about that movie. Uh, when they were on the L train and they got in a fight with the Spanish guys on the L train, and Al Pacino started speaking in Spanish. It was very good. Does anyone remember Chicago, an indoor amusement park? Old Chicago. I do. I never went there. I remember it when it was there. And I remember when it's gone. Going to the drive-in theaters, yes. I remember going there when I was like 3, 4 years old, 5 years old. I'd be in the back seat of a 52 Chevy that my father owned. Sean Pender, good afternoon, Red. Good afternoon, Sean. How you doing? We are talking about first memories as we were kids. What we remember more. Something that stands out in your mind. Jacob's Ladder, like Devil's Advocate, had those face contorts. Yes, they did. That could be scary for some people. I had a friend that he's dead now, but he didn't believe in God. And one day I was talking about something, and we just happened to see something on a movie, and it was about the devil switching bodies and killing people and switching bodies. And this he switched into a priest's body, And this one guy thought he had survived everything. And the devil changes form and he pushes him out of the rescue helicopter. And he's holding him by the arm. And he said, renounce your God and I'll let you live. And the guy said, never. And that had such an effect on my friend that he said, if I ever had an experience like that, I would definitely start going to church because if there was a devil, there has to be a God. Shannon, I remember on hot days, someone would open the fire hydrant. Yeah, every neighborhood that was would play in the water to stay cool. Yeah, we didn't have air conditioning back in those days. You remember going to Balmoral Park when you were little? You're regressing, Tim. Taking a small rug to kindergarten. Actually, we took like beach towels. We thought they were rugs, but they were like a beach towel. And we laid down on them so we could have a nap. They were all good days. I had a friend of mine, Nicky Rosato, who was a police officer. And when I asked him how he was doing or what's going on, he had a rough life. And he would always turn around and say, never had a bad day in my life. It'd make me laugh so much. Playing Super Mario. 89, baby. Okay. You were born after I left Chicago, guy. Yeah, 89. I was 40 years old then, guy, when you were born. Would you believe that? Congrats. So you would be a Generation X. Your comments are going into spam for some reason. I don't know. You know what YouTube does, Anthony? When this is over, they may be in the comment section. I doubt it, but we'll see. Thank you, Anthony. It's good to look back sometimes, fellas. And then it's good to look forward to. PO5 1313. Yes, it was. That was the before we had 911 in Chicago. And the FBI was 433-1313. Out of my memory. Devil's Advocate, just barely. Gen X, I think a little the mafia, true crime stuff is listening to is going to stories from the OGs, original gangsters. Yeah, there's a lot of it. But Adam is a Gen X, and he's 47. So I think you're older than he is, aren't you? No, you're younger. At the tone, the time will be. Yes, I remember that too, Anthony. Good memories, guy. Used to love going to Grant Park to watch fireworks. I didn't do that really until later when I lived down in Old Town. But Shannon, that's a good memory. I remember the Buckingham Fountain. There was so much architecture in Chicago, a lot of things there. Saw Jaws when I was 5 at the drive-in movie theater. Hey, okay. I gotta expect everybody to be younger than me. You remember using letters for your phone number in Chicago Heights. It was Skyline. Yes, I just talked about my first phone number that I recall. It belonged to my parents. It was installed in 1952 in our home in Chicago, which was a little rugged place. But anyway, it was Cornelius 78972. And the phone number after that, when I moved to Wheeling, was 1472. Didn't have any prefix. And you used to be able to pick it up, and the operator would say, "Number, please." And that's how you dial. Or if they were calling you, the phone would ring. And we only had one phone. It was in the kitchen. It had a little bit extra long cord on it, but it was a wall phone. And that was it. But Chicago Heights, all that area out there, that was different because I was out there, Sean. When Chicago Fest was at Navy Pier, it was at Navy Pier. That was the first one. Hudson 32700. We got a rotary phone later. I would say around 1959 or 58, we got a rotary phone. And then they gave us a prefix. And the prefix was Lehigh 7, which is 537. That's a blast from the past. You just made me think about the movie Blast from the Past. I love that thing. I love that movie. Brandon Fraser. And the gal was a real good looker. She was a lot of fun. Big Mom wants to know, who remembers the Empire Jungle? That Empire Jungle. Mine did too, Anthony. She had a party line and she didn't want to give it up. Yeah, Empire Carpet. A lot of things I remember about that. 588-2300 Empire. That's the commercial. I remember it. I'm trying to remember the waterfalls that was over on Pulaski. Actually, it's not far from my grandmother's house, but we used to go up those waterfalls. It was a carpet company, and I really can't remember it. They had Indians there. It was nice. Yes, it was Diversey in Pulaski. My grandmother lived right off at Diversey on Kildare when I was a kid. I must have been like maybe 5, 6, 7 years old. And we used to walk off of Kildare, walk up the street to Pulaski. And we'd go climbing up the flagstone steps at the carpeting place. And it was nice. The mist used to go. It was cool in the summertime. The Advocate. Empire advertises in Detroit. I'm from Michigan. Okay. Michigan's a nice state. I like it. I like Michigan. Tim Peroni, I remember when television used to last until 1 a.m. I don't know when it went off, but I remember the test pattern going on. I also remember before that happened, they'd play the Star Spangled Banner. It was very interesting. Big Mo. Brown's Chicken Massacre. I thought that was in Des Plaines. Mo. You got it, Anthony. You are the man. Olson Rugs. That's what it was. Something happens everywhere around Chicago. I don't know exactly what happened in Wilmette, but the Brown's Chicken Massacre, that was in Des Plaines, I believe, to the best of my memory. The ATF agents were talking to me about it at the time. It was Palatine. Okay, right next door. It was in Palatine. And Anthony also said it was TC had it, and so did Anthony. Big Nia, Magic Kiss Lips. Yes, I remember that too. Advertising was big then. Yes, that Brown's Massacre. That was a crazy thing that happened. When was that? 1990? 1990 that happened? I forgot. But I'm looking it up. $1993. That's when it happened. Yeah. Thank you, folks. 93 it was. Maybe that's why it was on my mind so much, because I was working with ATF agents at the time, and they were working on that case also. But I was worried about working on the Schussler Peterson murders, and they were going back and forth, and we were talking about Sean Pender, Dennis Rodman, mutual on the Kennedy Expressway. He changes hair color every few months. That was something, yeah. Kind of remember the cowboy blowing smoke rings. Yeah, that was the Marlboro Man. That was crazy. Marlboro cigarettes. That was originally a woman's cigarette. And the advertisers in Chicago actually came, and it was on the way going downtown. Advertisers in Chicago said, it was a non-saleable product. It wasn't selling very well. And the ads were coming out of New York. And so the guy in Chicago that got the advertising, he turned around and he changed it. And it became the number one. And then Philip Morris came to him, and R.J. Reynolds came to him, and all the other advertising companies came to him, because that was a big change. And then he came up with the Marlboro Man. They wanted a cowboy. They wanted somebody rough, tumble. And they actually came up with the Marlboro Man. Then as things changed in life, as things always do, They had a Marlboro Man on oxygen, telling you about the perils of smoking. And I am smoke-free for 8 months now. I keep a pack of cigarettes sitting here. It's getting dust, dog hair on it. I keep half a pack of cigarettes sitting here just to remind me not to smoke. I don't smoke anymore. Anyway, folks, I want to thank you all for coming by. You made my day. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed the show, enjoyed conversing with me, hanging out with me, whatever. And I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. Adam and I should be doing whatever we did. So thank you all for coming by. Thank you. God bless you. It's Red We Met. Oh.
The combination of the videotapes and Ouimet's testimony resulted in the conviction of 2 men on extortion charges. One of them was Frank Schweiz, known in syndicate circles as the German, a feared mob terrorist and a suspect in a number of gangland murders.
He was described to me by other outfit individuals as the most feared hitman. And as he said to me, my reputation precedes me, son.